probably already know this, but the first 6 Fire Emblem games were all Japanese exclusive. Smash Bros. Brought Martha and Roy, yada yada yada, you get it, Fire Emblem gets popular, boom. But thankfully, with the effort of various people in the Fire Emblem community, there's been patches for each of these games, and a lot of which were kind of, rough at first, but they got better over time, like with the FE6 patch. But then you got games like Fire Emblem 5, which had a pretty shoddy patch, and then it was like super ugly, and the text was kind of bugged at points. And thankfully we now have Little Master, which is the best way to experience this year's 6. This is generally how a lot of Fire Emblem patches go. There's one team that sets the standard and makes the first ever patch, but it doesn't really age that well later, but it's then revised and improved upon by another team. And so now I'm happy to announce that Fire Emblem, this year the Emblem, no, not that one, yes, thank you very much, is now among one of the FE games that's getting an overhaul for translation patches. So let's go over to FE Universe, let's see what's going on. Okay, so moving on to the actual website on FE Universe, as you can see, they've overhauled it. This is the website here, and this is the team. They call it the Heroes of Light, to reference FE12, the Heroes of Light patch. And FE3 was always a game that got the short end of the stick. It's a very underrated game, by the way. Nobody really plays this game, obviously because of how old it is. I mean, it's the third Fire Emblem game out of like 17 of them, and like nobody really plays the game. And for a long time it had like a really not like terrible translation patch. It's not up to like the Shia patch standards where like it was bugged and everything, but it wasn't really very good, like at least to today's standards. Like it was very outdated, like names were outdated, the text was ugly. It just didn't really look that good up to today's standards. And so moving on, like as you can see, it's really just a night and day difference. Like, let me see. So you have this, don't worry Shida, the bravest Altinian knights are here in this fort. It's really, the dialogue was also like really basic, very basic dialogue, not really a whole lot of depth to it. And I know that the Arcania games don't really have that much complexity compared to other entries, but still it's not really something that like today's Marth would say. But then we get over here, the font is way better. Marth has more to say here. Not to worry Shida, the fort houses Altea's bravest knights and will not hand tales over to those pillagers. Like that sounds like something Marth would say. Like I can imagine Yuri Lowenthal, Marth's voice actor, saying that, compared to here where it's just very generic, nothing unique. And apparently they have also done book 1 and book 2, which is great because that means, well, since book 1 is basically just a remake of FE1, we can play both, get to experience FE1 basically. But some characters are cut though, like Bart's was cut from book 2, but not from book 1. Like, there's a few characters that do get cut from book 2 because I think hardware limitations. But yeah, this is actually just really cool to see. I really do appreciate people going out of their way to provide people with more ways to play like these really old, quote-unquote outdated games that nobody really plays. Like, this is really a great way to preserve Fire Emblem 3, a really underrated Fire Emblem. I know I played it myself personally like a few years back, and I enjoyed it. Like I didn't really enjoy the patch, but that's not really the fault of the game. Obviously the art style is a bit like outdated by today's standards, not really much depth in the character design, but you can't really fault it for that since this was like really early into Fire Emblem's lifespan. But I really do appreciate them just putting in the effort. Like, this is awesome. What else is there? Oh yeah, the patch here. The patch is over there. You also have the instructions. I'll link this website in the description if you want to see it. But yeah, that's really all there is. I'm just really glad that someone went through the effort of translating, or not like, rather like retranslating older game. Oh yeah, they also added lines from Fire Emblem 11, which is really cool. So yeah, that's all I had to say. I really hope this gets more people to play the game, and see you guys in the next one.